welcome to the Build Wars patch rundown. I'm RC Panzer, and here are the changes the patch are going to be making. Now keep in mind, this is my interpretation of the changes and their purpose, not ANET's or anybody's with anything professional to say. If you disagree with something I've said, shoot me an email at buildwarsemail@gmail.com or comment or something. For general changes, the biggest change of this patch is to Might. Might is getting the biggest nerf, and this affects every offense build in the game, especially PvE. Power and condition damage bonus per stack reduced from 35 to 30. That's a 14.2% nerf. This means that those Zerkarellis won't be able to stack such bullshit amounts of power for free. Only moderate amounts of bullshit. Confusion is also getting a change in PvE, a 33% increase in damage in PvE. This means that the disparity between PvE and PvP is going to get even bigger, where PvE Confusion now does 2.66 times the damage that PvP Confusion does. For items, a couple of Might items got changed around as well. Sigil of Battle gets nerfed significantly, from 3 stacks of Might on weapon swap to 2 stacks per swap, same duration. This, coupled with the reduced effect of each stack of Might, will really nerf at least certain warrior builds, Might stacking engineers in PvP, as well as burst heavy classes like some thief builds and Zerker Shadow Mesmers. Also, Rune of the Nightmare is getting nerfed from 2 seconds of fear every 90 seconds to 1 second of fear every 60 seconds. Basically, this is an uptime nerf, taking it from 2.22% uptime to 1.67%, while making it more useful for disrupting attackers overall by reducing its internal cooldown. Truly, that's really a balance change. For sPVP, they added a rune set you can buy, Rune of Scavenging, 175 condition damage with 2 chances to steal life on attack, which is 974 damage and healing, and a stat conversion effect. This gives 7% of your vitality status condition damage. Good for you Carrion Necros out there. Also makes Carrion even slightly viable for the sPVP Necro without crits. Hybrid damage dealers like PU Mesmers can also make use of this if they can be asked to give up their Lissa runes. Next, Superior Sigil of Torment has been added, which is a very nice buff for rabid condition dealers in PvP. Previously, the only really good sigil of choice was Sigil of Earth, 60% chance on crit, 5-second bleed, and for your other second, I don't know, Energy, Battle, Doom? No, never really cut it. Sigil of Torment gives those AoE conditioners like Rabid NGs, Epidemic Necros, Condi Spike Warriors a pile more damage by spreading that love around some more. Also, they added in Sentinel Amulet, which I'm sure will be for 10 gold. Not feeling tanky enough with your Soldier Amulet? Then have some more goddamn Vitality. Vitality main stat, Toughness power secondary, combined with the new Rune of the Scavenger for a bit of Condi damage too, if you're feeling like a hybrid damage dealer who's also tanky. Never mind, that sounds dumb. Specific profession changes, I'll just go in the order that they're presented in the notes. Elementalist is getting balanced, with DD builds getting nerfed, Fire and Lightning specifically. In the burst burn time, they can apply with Fire 2, and the broken way to get ton of damage off Lightning auto attack by cancelling before the 3rd hit. Both those have been fixed. However, to compensate for this, a Focus Water skill got a radius increase, Comet, and the Scepter got 2 quality of life changes. For Scepter, Water 2 became usable finally, with a much shorter cast time before the 2-second detonation, and Earth 3 got a projectile speed increase, allowing you to actually hit things. Engineer had only a little tweaking incoming that brings some nice changes. Grenade 2 gets reduced in bleed time from 12 seconds to 10 and gets 2 utilities buffed. Throw Mine and Launch Personal Battering Ram. Now, both these utilities have knockback effects and are on super short cooldowns, which can serve to give the engineer some much needed crowd control. Currently, they only have Big Ol' Bomb if running bombs, Flamethrower 3 if running Flamethrower, and Shield abilities to disrupt people, attackers, or get people off points. So they were behind everybody except like Mesmer and maybe Ellie in hard control abilities. This quality of life change could really bring back the Gadget Engineer, since both of those utilities benefit from gadget buffs and traits. Maybe I'll make actually Zerker, Rifle, Grenades, Grenades, Gadgets Engineer. That could be fun. Anyways, Guardian. Offhand skills got better. Torch 5 was always nice, but now Torch 4 has no penalty for getting the extra damage. Formerly it had double cooldown, and fuck that. Shield skills also got better, because their only downside was insanely long cooldowns. Now 4 and 5 went from 30 and 40 seconds to 25 and 30 seconds respectively. Also, Litany of Wrath got changed to be 5% more effective, 20 to 25% health, damage dealt to health, and faster, 0.5 second after cast removal. For Mesmers, it's a board-wide buff. Scepter 3 gets buffed from 5 seconds to 7 seconds of Confusion, Time Warp gets cooldown reduced by 30 seconds, Illusion of Life gets 10 seconds of cooldown reduction, Phantasmal Mage applies more Confusion faster, Phantasmal Defender has a cooldown reduction of 5 seconds, and then the Down State 2 skill, Deception, no longer requires a target to use, allowing you to avoid getting stealth stomped. Necromancer, also a buff, but more obscure of one. Locust Swarm, I guess people still use Warhorn, has been reduced in cast time, giving the Necro less setup time to be combat ready. Corrosive Poison Cloud has been reduced in cast time and cooldown, again, to reduce the setup needed for Necros to be useful. Signet of Locust cooldown has been reduced by a third, making the penalty for accidentally hitting that much less. And Signet of Undeath's passive life force gain has increased from 1% to 2% per 3 seconds, still super low. The more pressing matter about the Necro changes is this. I asked all my friends what utilities they ran on Necro, and neither of them used any of these things. Not Warhorn, not Signet of the Locust, or Undeath, not Corrosive Poison Cloud. Corrosive can be good if you have a Corruption build, I guess. But Warhorn can be good if you're a Zerker Roamer type, in addition with Signet of the Locust, I guess. But the crazy strong Necro builds that I see are usually the ones sitting on midpoint dealing direct AoE damage. Axe, Dagger, and Staff, Wells sometimes, usually Corruption or Suffering, and Death Shroud skills. I don't really get the purpose of this minor buff. It's not enough to change how Necros are still played, in my opinion. Minion Master's still going to be really strong, Berserker's still going to be really strong. These skills still kind of suck. Ranger. Now, Rangers are my least familiar class, not having one myself yet, but I have watched a pile of pro players use the Ranger, and abuse the Ranger, and they are quite strong with good weapon abilities and low cooldowns. Now, I'm personally super sick of seeing Zerker Longbow Rangers kill me in one burst. Even on tanky characters, Longbow is friggin' stupid to fight against. Luckily, Longbow gets no love. In this patch, Torch gets buffed, and with quality of life changes like projectile speed and AoE radius, which make condition Rangers a little bit more viable. Screw you, Zerkers. And Warhorn gets cast time and cooldown reduction to encourage supporty Rangers with Spirit build. Also, Heal as 1 gets buffed. But really, who doesn't run Healing Spring? It freaking cures conditions and gives perma regen with a 10-second water field. Hello. For Thief, Blinding Powder no longer interrupts your own skills. Cool. Dancing Dagger gets a projectile speed increase. Excellent change for Sword Dagger, Larson and Strike Thieves. Gives quite a bit more chase potential, a little less reactability from the victim of said chasing. After that, the trait Invigorating Precision gets buffed for the second time now, up from 5, then 8%. Now 15% of critical damage you deal is returned as health. This puts it in line with the Necromancer variant of this trait, and it makes it actually viable. While in my opinion it's still not a better choice than Executioner for crit thieves, it actually heals now, instead of just being this weird like green number that sometimes appears and doesn't really do anything. Also, Needle Trap and Shadow Trap got buffed, helping with the Roamer Thief quite a bit. If you leave your Shadow Trap and Needle Trap on top of each other at, say, midpoint, then go to far and try and decap, then you can teleport back to mid at the first sign of trouble. Also granted increased might, some fury, a bunch of bleeding now, and cripple. A nasty surprise for anybody who gets themselves caught. Warrior has been a long time favorite of mine to pick on, so why stop now? Warrior is inherently broken. There, I said it. Okay, well, Hambo is broken. Control, damage, tankiness, what more do you want? Anyways, Hambo gets no love in this patch, which is super okay with me, and enough for me to put a giant seal of approval on the patch, pretty much regardless of what it says otherwise. The Rifle Burst skill has been reduced in cast time by 28.5%, making it much more viable for use in a teamfight rather than from a safe, interrupt protected high ground. This in combination with the Rifle Forge cast time reduction might actually bring Rifle Warriors back to the party. Also, Greatsword 5 was bug fixed, so the sword swing part will hit more consistently, making it actually useful as a damaging ability and a gap closer. Also, Arcing Slice, the F1 skill, has been given a little bit more damage, that's I think 10%, that's the Greatsword Burst skill, to bring it back in line with Hammer Burst and Axe Burst while still giving Fury. With this patch, Greatsword Rifle Fury build might come back to dump the same huge power ratios on us. 5.5 on 100 Blades and 3.25 on Killshot on us. Still a Zerker build, but it's not Hambo, so I'm cool. Greatsword Rifle lacks the dumb control that Hambo has, but has way higher damage and mobility. Maybe we'll even see physical utility builds with like Bola and Stomp to CC people for their 100 Blades, and then the warrior charges in 100 Blades, beat the crap out of them, and you're gonna watch people blow up. Also, Rifle, you never really know. You're like, hey, is that heavy armor? Is he like crouching? What the hell is... Oh, that's a rifle, and then you get shot in the head, you take 8,000 damage and die. I'm excited for new warrior builds. I actually might try that Greatsword Rifle build pretty soon. Anyways, that's the Build Wars patch rundown for January 27th, 2015, and possibly the beginning of the expansion pack, Heart of Thorns, announced only 3 days ago. The X-Pack will also include a new class called the Revenant, and some new weapon choices for all classes. I personally can't wait to see that expansion pack, but as of right now, they haven't announced a release date. So I'm just kind of sitting here waiting patiently. In the meantime, I'm RC Panzer, and I'll see you in game. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe below.